What's up guys, Ryan here from MudGunner, and today we are going to be talking about my thoughts on vertical grips versus angled grips and some of the other ones out there. This is something that you don't need to get too caught up on because, to be honest, they all relatively do the same thing. It's just going to be personal preference. So I do have a couple brands here that we're going to talk about and like my pros and cons of them, but at the end of the day, they are more of a cosmetic upgrade, but they do help me shoot. And I think they could help you guys depending on what you need it for. So again, we're going to talk about that. My personal preference right off the get-go is I really like vertical grips. It's just my preference, but I don't hold them like you see in movies where you just fully wrap your hand around it. I actually do what's called a C-clamp. So I just use them as like a hand placement, like a hand stop. So right here I have one, and I don't hold the whole thing like this. Now you'll see a lot of older vertical grips are pretty tall and long, so you can put your whole hand on there. But as time goes on, they're starting to get shorter and shorter. So you see a lot of stubby grips like this BCM here. And to be honest, I think these are more practical. And the reason why is when I grab this, again, I don't hold it like this. I C-clamp it where I kind of use it as a hand stop and I wrap my hand around it like that. So when I shoot, even if I'm not using the light, which I have the pressure pad up here, my thumb just sits off to the side and I'm like this. So I'm not using the whole grip anymore. I mean, you could, but I'd say personal preference and how I shoot better is I just use it as a hand stop. I'm pulling the gun into me. I don't think there's really any situation where you're going to be pulling the gun out. Now, you can also use it as a barricade stop, and then you can push it into a barricade, but you're still tucking it in. And that's another reason why I like vertical grips. Depending on the type of shooting you do, which, I mean, chances are I'm not needing an actual barricade in real life, but for a lot of shooting drills, we use barricades, and vertical grips make a really good barricade stop. And there are also dedicated barricade stops that don't really work as a grip that we'll talk about too. But yeah, that's just like a quick thing right off the get-go with vertical grips. I don't grab them like that. I don't wrap my hand around it. I put my thumb on the left side of the gun for me being right-handed, and I tuck it in. So that's how I shoot. You will see a lot of times in movies though, they grab it like this. There's probably still shooters that do it like this too. There's nothing wrong with it for me. I mean, I just prefer it that way. So that's gonna be personal preference. And then as far as brands of vertical grips go, there's a lot out there. Like this Knight's Armament broomstick vertical grip. That's a very popular one for clone rifles, but it's also kind of expensive and hard to get at times. So you don't necessarily need this. There's a lot better options on the market now anyways. So I like this Daniel Defense one if you're looking for a similar size, and this one can actually store batteries in it, which is cool. I think it stores a AA or a CR123. I just use them for CR123 batteries for my stuff. So unscrews from the bottom, and then there's a tube in there that'll hold your battery. If I fully unscrew it, come on. And it's got a little rubber seal, and this will hold your batteries, and it's got little notches up here. So it's got two notches that hold it into the rail, where the Knight's Armament one has a single notch. So it's actually not as secure as that Daniel Defense one. Very easy to take on and off though. But yeah, it doesn't really store batteries. So unless this part comes off, I've actually never checked, but I don't think so. I think this is fully molded. So yeah, these don't hold batteries, but the Daniel Defense ones do. You can get other grips like the Tango Down grips, specifically the quick detach ones. Those hold batteries. And yeah, the Tango Down one is one of my favorites. I do like Magpul vertical grips. I also like the BCM little angled grips. I'd say the most popular ones are BCM and Magpul because you can buy almost any BCM or Magpul grip for 20 to 30 bucks. These Magpul AFGs, the angled vertical grips, those are about 30, but all their other like stuff like this are about 20. So you can get them pretty affordable. You're gonna pay a premium for stuff like Knight's Armament or metal vertical grips and metal angled grips, which I don't think you need to buy metal unless you really want to. I mean, there's some good brands out there, but I tend to run mostly polymer stuff and I've never broken anything. This is a polymer vertical grip on a SCAR 17, and I just ran this in a competition back in July. It's a Tango Down one. I think it's like 40 bucks. This one has a little bit of side-to-side play, so I don't like their M-LOK one. I much prefer their quick detach on Picatinny ones. Those are very durable. I know military uses those all the time, and yeah, that's probably one of my favorite vertical grips because it's stubby and because it stores a battery. This one does not, but my rail here is M-LOK, so I do like it for the SCAR 17, and I've never broken it off or anything. I haven't really used it as a barricade stop much on this because I have the bipod. One thing with this being a 308 is I like having a bipod on there, so I still like having a grip though, and when you have like this much weight on the front end, just having something to pull it in, I think it makes it nice. So yeah, I do like the vertical grip even on something like this with a bipod. But my little shorty here, this is a SCAR 16 chambered in 5.56. This has my favorite vertical grip on there. And that is the Tango Down quick detach one. So not that you really ever need to quick detach it, but you see how easy this pops on and off, just press that. And it stores a battery in here. I don't think it'll store a AA or AAA. I think it'll only store a 123 battery. But You see I got one in a baggie there. It doesn't make any noise. Fits like that. Maybe it can store AA. I think it's big enough. I've never put one in here, but yeah, just like that. These are pretty expensive, unfortunately. They're like $95, $100, which is insane. I mostly buy them used when I can, but it is one of my favorite ones. Now you can do a rail mounted one that you have to pull down these two tabs and slide it on, but you basically need 3 hands for that. It's very annoying, so I don't like those ones. I like these ones much better. And then again, it just pops on here and like that. So I like that a lot. And again, I use it as an indexing point. The Scar has a lot going on here. I have my light, I have my laser for night vision. I got my pressure pad right here. So it's nice to have, and I have my sling mount right here. It's nice to have this grip so I can hold on to it. I still run my thumb on the left side, just kind of up here above the pressure pad unless I need it for my light. So yeah, I like that. I've done a lot of videos on the Scar. This is had a few different variations, but the Tango Down vertical grip has been the main one this whole time. And yeah, this is my dream setup. I've been working on it for years, and it's the main rifle I shoot. So I really like that Tango Down vertical grip. But enough with vertical grips. We've talked about a few of them. I do like angled grips too, and I use them on guns. This is more of a clone gun for a FBI AR style rifle, but yeah, this is the Magpul AFG2. They have it where you can put this nub on there, or you can run it smooth. It comes with 2 pieces. And I really like these too, and I run them the same way. Just I wrap my hand around, my thumb's on the left side. If I need to use my pressure pad, it's up here. Depending on how thick your rail is, it might be tough to have this plus a thick rail because, I mean, I definitely couldn't run it on the Scar. My hand wouldn't really get up as high, but on smaller rails, angled grips are nice, or even no grip. I have a couple over here with no grips. But yeah, I like this, same thing, just wrap my hand around, tuck it in, and I could still use it as a barricade stop if I need to because it's got this little front block right here to hold your hand from going forward. Something like this would also prevent it from slipping. I don't know all the scenarios in which it would slip forward, but I mean, you have a way to tuck it in either way. And yeah, angled grips are nice too. Again, these are Magpul, so here's one with no nub. Here's the one with the nub. It comes with both. They also make them for M-LOK. The main rail components are going to be M-LOK or Picatinny. There is KeyMod stuff available too. I really don't see KeyMod angle grips as much. Mostly vertical grips for KeyMod, but you could probably find M-LOK ones too. Or not M-LOK, you could find angled ones too. But yeah, the Magpul one's nice. There's a lot of good options. BCM has their AFG, which is kind of like, not a hand stop, but it is a hand stop because you don't wrap your hand around the grip. You wrap your hand around the rail and pull in. It's kind of like this one right here. This is an Emissary Development. That's like a handbrake. So while you may not be wrapping your hand around that piece itself, you're pulling the rail into yourself. So we'll grab that one next. But yeah, angled grips, I do like Magpul. And then, yeah, we'll talk about that one in a sec. We'll talk about this one next. So again, this is Emissary Development. I have a couple of theirs now, and I do like them. So same thing, I run a pressure pad on top, and you'll notice the main thing that I use these for as like an index point to repeatedly put my hand in the same spot and have access to my pressure pad. Not that you couldn't grab it from my hair. I mean, you definitely could, but I like it running it forward like that, and I have access to my pressure pad. I have access to get my front side up, and it makes it very easy. You'll notice I also put rail covers on some of these. So this has the B5 rail covers, and it has the Rail Scales one, plus this Emissary Development grip. And it kind of just adds like a whole texture for your hand to grab onto. And it's nice. I'd say it's mostly slip proof. I mean, most of these have texture, so if your hands are sweaty or you're wearing gloves, you have something like pretty sturdy to hold on to. Your hand's not going to slide. But yeah, that you see, it's not even like wrapped around. It's just pressed in. So it's really just for the back of your pinky finger. I mean, you're not going to hold it. I mean, I don't think you would hold it like this. I've never tried, but yeah, you're not going to hold it like that. It's really just for that. It's for the back of your hand or the bottom of your hand right here. And you just tuck in. Now this, I could still use it as a hand stop, or not a hand stop, a barricade stop. It's just going to basically ride until it hits something solid. So the bottom of your rail may not be contacting the barrier as much, but that would, and it'll work. So yeah, I like these, no issues so far. I think I have 2 or 3 of them, but yeah, it's on a Cobalt Kinetics here. And then we will talk about some just like indexing points or barricade stops. So this one's chambered. I'm not gonna mess with it too much, but this has just a little index point right here. This is made out of metal. I think these are like 30 to 40 bucks, I forget. Remember, I buy a lot of stuff used, but this comes from Arisaka. They have a lot of different things. They do something similar to that. They do this one, they do barricade stops. And what this kind of is just an indexing point. You can do it a couple ways. You can run your hand in front and just grab it like that. For me, with this one, I've just tended to put my middle finger or like on the side of it and just run it right in the middle of my hand. just where I put it, like where I naturally grab, I just grab it right there. It's more or less just to play around with it. I got it, so I was like, you know what, we'll throw it on this gun and I'll see how I like it. I don't necessarily like it or hate it. It's just kind of there. If I had to go out of my way to buy this for 40 bucks, I don't think I would. And not saying that it's bad. Again, they make a lot of other good stuff too. But yeah, I just threw it on here to see how I like it because I like trying new things. But yeah, it's not one of my favorites, but it is solid. I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's metal. You could definitely use it as a barricade stop. But yeah, check out Arisaka because they do a lot of cool ones, and I'd like to get some of their other ones. But yeah, there's that one. And then there is this one that I got specifically for the purpose of this rifle. This is my competition rifle. It has been through 2 Tactical Games events where you are doing a lot of tactical shooting, drills, full kit, plate carrier setup, pistol setup, belt setup, everything. You gotta have a sturdy sling, and you do a lot of barricade shooting, like a lot of barricade shooting. So with this one, and one thing to note is you'll see a lot of competitive shooters that run nothing on their guns. They just run it slick and they just grab it with their hands and shoot. And I think that is a very fast way to shoot. You don't necessarily need something to like, I think it's a matter of like those milliseconds. You don't have to think about where you're gonna put your hand. You just put your hand anywhere, you're ready to shoot. Your hand's gonna be in different positions depending on what type of shooting you're doing. So if you watch competitive shooters, a lot of them, they run their guns bare, like nothing on there whatsoever. But for the tactical games, again, there's a lot of barricade shooting, so I put this on here. This is just a barricade stop. I mean, it can stop your hand from going forward, but it's got some rough texture on here. And what this is meant is you just jam it into the barricade and it's not moving. Like I don't even need my hand up here. Sometimes I'll just press forward like that and just press on the barricade. But yeah, you could just jam this thing in there and it's not moving. And this is from SLR. Again, Arisaka makes one too, but this is the only barricade stop I have, and it has worked really well. It has been jammed into a lot of barricades. And I mean, these things can take concrete, they can take wood, whatever. So that'd be pretty good. And it's just an indexing point. And some of those barricades, like you have a window this big and like that wide, so you're gonna be jamming the gun sideways, and that's when I learned that a 1-8 is not the best option for that, but it's okay. I like this one. This is a Vortex Strike Eagle 1-8, ran through the tactical games twice, no problems. And overall, I'm pretty happy with how I have this set up. So I think these are a good option too. Again, just depending on your rifle. Like you'll notice, I do have a lot of rifles. I like to build them up for different purposes. The sole purpose of this was a competition gun, and I chose a barricade stop. Most of the other stuff, again, vertical grips are my preference. So you notice that I run vertical grips with pressure pads all like right there. And then we can talk about no grips. So here I have a little B&T GHM9. This one I have nothing on there because I used the magwell. Like this gun's chamber 2, so it's safe direction. I just use the magwell and it's not in my way at all. You notice when I have the brace out, it's fine. And then I just run my thumb for the light right there. But the rail's so small and like I really don't have space to put a vertical grip. I wouldn't want to run it any more forward than that. So the magwell works good for that. And yeah, I think there's a time and place for everything. And this one, I felt like I did not need any grip on there. And then same thing with something like this. This is my Type A rifle. This is a Gordon carbine. It's a clone of an old military rifle. And this one just has a 2-piece handguard. These are perfectly fine as well. Downside is it's harder to mount a light, but I am gonna mount a light up top, and there's rail sections that I can get for this. So I'm gonna run this thing with no angled grip, vertical grip, anything like that, but I will eventually put a light on here. And it works pretty well. This is, again, just a 2-piece polymer handguard. These have been out forever, and it's basically the gold standard. So yeah, don't feel like you have to get a grip. I think that comes last after optic, sling, and light ideally, but you notice I don't have a light on some of these, but yeah, optic and sling would be more important to me than, you know, the comfort features like radiant charging handle, AMB 45-degree safety selector, stuff like that. I would choose sights and a sling over most of those, because at the end of the day, some of these are just like a comfort. It might make you shoot a little better, but it's not going to be super night and day difference, at least in my opinion. I've shot, again, with all this stuff, and I like it, but I can live without it. So yeah, just wanted to give you guys my thoughts. Again, I think they're all good. There's a lot of great brands out there. Try not to buy the really cheap Amazon ones. Spend the 20 bucks and get something Magpul or BCM. But other than that, I hope this helped you guys, and thank you for watching. Stay tuned for my next video.